Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Jamaica is possibly one of the best island nations to be in once you're in the Caribbean. And many persons might say we are a third world country, but based on many of the infrastructure and policies that we have in place for our citizens, we are ahead of our time. But sadly, we just can't get it right to make that final push to bring the country forward. And lately there have been some things happening with regards to COVID and our financial shortfalls or downfalls, whichever you want to call it. But what the government has done is basically to withdraw some funds from the National Housing Trust. And for those of you who don't know, the National Housing Trust is or should be the island's leading mortgager, as well as they build houses and they provide a mortgage and housing finances, stuff along that line. So how this works is that they basically collect, or they are funded by the salary of persons who are work, and it was established in 1976 to support the provision of housing to Jamaicans. And as I was saying, the trust itself is funded by a 3% payroll tax on employers, while employees contribute about 2% of taxable incomes, with each year's deduction repaid after 7 years at a low interest. So in exchange, contributors can receive benefits in the form of below market rate mortgage loans. And but the thing is that the NHT, in my view, is not living up to its mandate. And now the NHT has become the bank for the government. And one of the surprising things is that I'm not surprised. So let me first say that I'm not surprised, and with the circumstances we find ourselves in, the government and the finance minister, I wouldn't be surprised whereby they announced that they will be withdrawing $11.4 billion over the next 5 years, and over that period to the end of the 24-25 fiscal year, they will want to draw some 57 billion Jamaican dollars. And when we look at it, calculated differently during the 13 years from the 2013 to 2014 fiscal year, when the PNP was in power, the NHE would have provided the government with nearly $150 billion in direct budgetary support. And that is a lot of money. And when you look at it, that is nearly 7% of Jamaica's GDP in 2019. And my argument is that if the government and the NHT is saying that these drawdowns will not affect their abilities to provide mortgages and houses, why haven't they been using the surplus over these many years to do so? Because the NHT, in my view, has not been doing their mandate. And one of the sad things is that the government has gone through a lot, and the really wanted money to basically turn our finances around. The PNP started it, the JLP was like, no, you can't do it, and now the JLP is in power and they're doing it. But the country sadly has been plunged into a deep recession by the coronavirus pandemic, and the country's GDP is expected to contract by as much as 12% in 2020, and now that 2020 is gone, 2021 has its own challenges, and the government has estimated that it will lose some $84 billion in tax revenue. And sadly, the COVID has forced Jamaica to spend an extra $25 billion on its COVID response effort. So, yes, we expect a coronavirus fall short, but what I'm saying is that the NHT is possibly the richest entity in Jamaica, and these yearly raids on the NHT's treasury has not affected its viability or its capacity to deliver mortgages to those of its contributors who can afford it, which is far too few. And indeed, the large majority of them, as many studies have shown, are too poor to afford a mortgage, and they cannot even qualify for a NHT subsidized mortgage. So the NHT has a problem, and the government has a problem. NHT's problem is that it's not living up to its mandate, and the government's problem is that it's not using its power to will the NHT to do its mandate. And this is my argument for the next couple of minutes. The NHT has so much money, we all say that, and Jamaica has a huge housing problem, we have a huge squatter problem, and we have a huge crime problem. And you see, if we could somehow fix housing in Jamaica, I believe we could even help to solve crime. Because let's look at some of the poorest areas in Jamaica. They are also crime beds. So I'm not saying that we should just splash money, but what I'm saying is that if the NHE can give out $150 billion, one of the projected schemes that the NHE will want to do will cost $27 billion to build 1,000 plus houses. So if they can give the government $150 billion, couldn't the government force them to build houses for the poor, low income? Well, basically anybody who wants a house, and it still wouldn't affect them. Because when you look at it, and this is one reason for housing and crime in my book. If you could build, let's call them projects, in a place like Trenchtown, and take persons from the squalor and the zinc and put them in, should I say, projects, let's just call them that, the United States has them, and you give persons a place to live, you now have the option to say, let us end your squalor. So one, persons will feel better knowing that their standard of living will improve. Two, you can now control certain things like movement, because when you look at it, if the police is going to police an area and all they see is zinc, they don't know who is behind the zinc, and it makes it more dangerous. If the government build these projects or these houses in such a way, they can have areas where it is able to lock off, you can maneuver quickly, or the thing is that a police station could be built right in the housing area to make policing even better. So you could even make a community within that area. So let us say you have a shootout. Automatically the police that is in the area can quickly block off, let's say, building A where the shooting is taking place. So building A will be on a lockdown. So building B, C and D, etc. will not be affected. So in my book, also you could even cut the issue of theft and try to work on issues of social light and water, and that you could work up an agreement with the JPS and the NWC whereby you could have a social light and water program, and it would be much better. And also in building these houses, the government will basically be providing one aspect of security for its members, because some of the places where people live, especially in the ghettos, are basically sad. And knowing that the NHE has so much money and the government has not envisioned some of these ideas to put in place, and yes, I know you can't just give out money like that, but at the same time, if you see a national need and there is so much money in an entity that is mandated or its purpose is to build houses, why not use them to do such a thing? Because the NHT, as we all know, is not afforded to all, and so even though they pay back some money after 7 years, they will still have money coming in. So on the face of it, the existing approach allows those contributors who already have an advantage even greater access to NHT resources, and without the trust sufficiently addressing the section of the Jamaican society where the crisis of shelter is most profound. In this regard, the trust policies, in my view, ought to be directed more towards providing pricing subsidies for homes for low-income contributors, most of whom are now effectively locked out of its benefits. So there are many articles written on it, and I would love to invite the Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Dr. Clark to encourage the NHT to begin to move more aggressively in this direction, because we all know that more can be done. And one of the sad things is, again, people feel, and even I sometimes feel, that our political leaders have hoodwinked us into believing that the NHT mandate is their priority. The information basically has shown that the operations of the NHT is more of a financial institution over the years than a housing institution. And the thing is that we're not under an IMF agreement, so there's no need for a high primary surplus, which they're pushing for, even though we can argue there's a COVID issue going on, but I'm speaking before the COVID. So the push to have these constant drawdowns before COVID was sad, especially when we came out of the IMF agreement. But the thing is that since the NHT is so cash rich, why not change strategy and focus on low income housing, not exceeding $3 million for low-end workers such as helpers, janitors, bearers, and other minimum income and other low-end professional workers, so they can have a piece of the rock. Because when you look at it, it is quite sad to know that a one-bedroom house is almost $7 million. Even persons who are working as teachers, police officers, can't afford that. Basically, with a family, with loans to pay back, with food to eat. Sometimes you cannot afford to pay a mortgage. So even working professionals sometimes fall after you take out expenses into low-end workers. And the thing is that another strategy the government, who is a land baron, can do is combine the NHT with their asset of nearly $250 billion, and link up with persons who are knowledgeable about building low-income houses, especially especially high-rise low-income houses, and do so. And we could at least take out 5,000 low-income persons from out of certain conditions. We could at least try and make a dent into squatter settlements. We can move persons from places where they shouldn't be living. And I know it will be just giving money away, but again, this would be something that would be of national importance. And the sad thing is that the NHT could even go into renting these properties for a reduced amount, and at the same time they would still be getting a contribution from their salary. So if the government really had its people in mind, there are so many things they could possibly, in my view, work and try to ensure that persons can actually own a house, own a decent living space. And the thing is that many contributors will not be qualified for a loan. So why are they contributing in the first place? And no one has really explained that to anyone. Because when you look at it, to get a house is a lottery. To get a mortgage, you need to earn a certain amount. After you get the mortgage, many persons have to be sucking salt through wooden spoons. So when you really look at it, it's just quite sad to know that housing is what is in the state that it is in now. And I just believe that the NHT can actually build houses, and the government can force them to build houses and help in nation building, in help in fighting crime, in helping persons to live better lives. Because when you look at it, a person who is living in zinc, in squalor, I know they will feel happy, but they won't feel joyous about their situation. And when you take a person from those situations, no light, no water, dirty conditions all around them, you can help them to change their mindsets. You can build your nation going forward to be in not squalor but style. And I know that changing person's location won't change your mindset, but at the same time, you can have your agenda behind this, for whether it be nation building, crime fighting, you name it. Because at the end of the day, countries have done it, and they have done it in different ways, and I know we can do it too. It will just take a different mindset and approach for us. Because when you look at it, I find it quite sad to know that for years, we have had the NHT with so much money, and they have not been doing, and the government hasn't been forcing them to help them to change the fortunes of Jamaica and the lives of its people. And knowing that they can take over $100 billion and it doesn't affect their operations, that to me proves that both the governments, both the JLP and the PNP, lack vision in how to manage the affairs of its people.